She had 7 children. On paper, she was a single mother doing what she was supposed to do, managing a household, keeping up appearances, staying under the radar. But on January 6, 2024, inside a house on Beard Avenue in Syracuse, New York, 5-year-old Nefertiti Neffy Harris took her last breath. And then her mother made sure that no one would find out. After Neffy was already deceased, Latasha Mott transferred her daughter, in name only, to another school and then told teachers that the girl had moved to Georgia to live with family. She told her own mother that Neffy was staying with a family friend, and she told the family friend the girl was with her grandmother. It was a web of lies, and for nearly 3 months, it held. It wasn't until family members finally compared stories that the deception unraveled. The police launched a missing child investigation. On March 26, 2024, Neffy's remains were found hidden in a wooded area in Syracuse's Salt Springs neighborhood. She was just 5 years old. During the investigation, detectives analyzed Latasha Mott's phone and found searches that stopped them cold, including why do killers hide kids' bodies and do bodies smell in the winter. In February 2026, a judge sentenced Latasha Mott to 23 years to life in state prison. Before the sentencing, Neffy's foster mom stood inside the Onondaga County Courthouse and said Mott used her precious baby as a punching bag, comparing little Neffy to Cinderella at the start of the story, a child abused by the very people who were supposed to love her. This is the story of Nefertiti Harris, a little girl who deserves so much more. This episode contains themes of violence and murder and may not be suitable for listeners of all ages. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Hot Justice Podcast, a space where we remember the victims, question the facts, and seek justice through storytelling.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Sierra.
And we're here to explore the stories that challenge what we think we know, bringing you real talk, honest reflection, and a deep respect for the victims and their families.
Because true crime isn't just about mystery. It's about understanding the human stories beneath the headlines. Let's get into it. What's up,
Hi, guys?
Welcome back to the Hot Justice Podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
Your true crime besties back again for another episode.
Yay. And it's like a nice day here in central New York. It feels like spring.
After the winter we've had, today feels like summer.
That's true. Like, honestly, I was like, why am I wearing a coat today?
I know.
What am
I
doing?
know. Yeah. It feels very nice and warm, but
then remember, it'll be just like last week.
it's going to
Some 60-degree
drop
days
tomorrow.
and then snow. I know. I think we're supposed to get snow tomorrow, actually.
Yeah. Ugh. How was your weekend?
It was good. Busy. What about yours?
Busy as well. Yeah, it was good. I went to the high school musical, our local high school musical.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So they put on Anastasia, the musical. It was really, really good and just some great talent. I'm always so amazed. I'm amazed with the sets and the costumes and but just the acting and the singing was incredible. So
Were you in musicals when you were in school?
I was in youth theater and then I was in middle school plays, but not musicals. They were just like regular plays.
Same. I did regular plays, not musicals.
My husband jokes because I was hen number 5 in Animal Farm one time.
Hen number 5. Can I change that to your name in my phone?
Yes. That is me, hen number
Excuse
5.
me, I gotta call hen number 5.
Get it right, please.
Actually,
Don't mistake me for hen number 4.
It'll be a text message, not a phone call, because I don't want to talk on the phone.
Yeah, me either. Who does? But wine of the week. What do we got?
Yay. So this week is Montezuma Winery, and it is their Cayuga White.
It's good. It's sweet. It has a heron
Ooh,
or
it's
something
very
on the
sweet.
bottle. Yeah. What do you think?
Old me would have loved this. Newer, more dry wine me thinks this is too sweet.
More matured palate, Heather.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I think it's great. I
But-
still have an immature wine palate.
But
so.
let's be clear, like I'm not on to like dry reds or any reds or anything like that. I'm still
Mm-mm.
not. And it's okay. It's fine. I mean, it's good, but it's just not what I would reach for at this point.
Well,
Yeah, but you know.
I like it. Montezuma Winery. They have a really big new addition that
Oh my
they
gosh.
put on. It's
I love their slushies. Can we talk about their slushies?
Delicious.
I wish I had some of their slushies right now. Then I would. I would rave about that.
Maybe
with
for
those.
one of our summer episodes, we can go and get Montezuma wine slushies before
Maybe
we
for one
start.
of our summer episodes, we can go to each winery and tell a piece at each winery and see how it ends up at the end.
Oh, okay. That would be dangerous. We would be
You might not
slurring.
get a real episode by the end and be like, what are they
You wouldn't
saying?
get any factual details by winery number 4.
I feel like that was a made up word. But it would be fun.
Oh, geez. What about your book? Do you have a book for the week?
Okay, so I do have a book for the week, and I raved about last week's, and I have to rave about this one too. But I should have read this a while ago, so most of you have probably already read it. It was part of Reese's book club. It's Where the Crawdads Sings, or Where the Crawdads Sing, by Delia Owens.
I've seen the movie.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
It's really
I was
good.
gonna tell you there's a movie and you can watch it, but I should have already known.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to say that the ending wasn't like a massive twist, but I was happy that it didn't go the way I thought the book was gonna go. So there was like a little bit of a switch it up in there. So I was happy about that. So
I don't know if it differs from the movie at all, but the movie is
watch it.
It's really good. I don't know. I think sometimes people say that watching the movie takes away or isn't, the movie can't possibly be as good as the book and like as descriptive and stuff. But I really liked the movie. So
The only thing for me is I can read the book and watch the movie, but I cannot watch the movie and then read the book
okay.
because it makes me mad. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I don't want to know what's going on in the book. I want to just read it and be
Mhm.
surprised. And then once I've read the book, I don't care that I'll know what's going on in the movie. Is that weird?
No, I don't.
Nerd alert!
That's how I operate. So
So I wanted to give one update today. We're recording the day before St. Patrick's Day. So this is March 16th. And Quentin Tellis's murder trial started in Washita Parish for the murder of Mandy Mangchen Shao. So an exciting day. We've been following it to see if it is actually going to start this time because it's just been postponed and postponed and postponed over and over since December. So it's starting today. We'll definitely provide an update in an episode to come or possibly a short. We'll give you an update with what the outcome is of that trial, but we're hoping for a guilty verdict.
oh, it has to be guilty.
He's got to go away.
He's
He's
gotta.
He's a bad guy.
He's just no.
He
He
belongs
shouldn't be
behind
walking
bars.
around with the rest of us.
No, agreed.
And maybe for my birthday, it could still happen if it's a quick trial.
It could. I don't
I
know.
doubt
I'm not
it,
sure
but
what the. Yeah, I
There's
don't know.
Probably a lot of details. Murder trials are normally,
Pretty
quite
lengthy.
lengthy.
Yeah.
but maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, guys, before we start this case, I just want to give like a massive, massive trigger warning. I am not going to dive deep into any kind of details because I refuse and I don't want to, but this does involve child abuse. So if that is something that you are not comfortable even hearing about remotely, and again, I'm not going to dive into the abuse, just factual things, but a child was murdered in this case. So I really do want to give that trigger warning. So bear with us, hopefully. Again, we'll do it with as minimal as possible, but this did just happen. It was just decided in court, and it is somewhat local to us being in Syracuse, so I really wanted to cover it because I think it is very important, and I think it's important for her memory and the people that loved her for her story to be told. Let's just get into it. So Nefertiti, Neffy, as they called her, and that's what we're going to call her, Harris, was born in 2018. And from the moment she entered this world, the odds were really stacked against her. County officials would later say that she was born with cocaine present in her system. So Onondaga County officials said that the CPS involvement with the family began right from her birth.
Was she the oldest in her
No.
family?
No.
So had CPS ever been involved in their family or home before?
I do not know. I didn't do that research to see. I kind of did from when she was born moving forward.
Okay.
But CPS has a lot of involvement here. So I would be very surprised if they weren't involved prior to her being born. The family court judge ordered the immediate removal of her and 4 of her older siblings. Nyosha Smith received a call from Neffy's grandmother on November 20th, 2018. The grandmother asked if Smith could take 3-day-old Neffy. Within 6 hours, Neffy was placed with Smith.
Who is Smith?
I believe that she was just someone the family knew. They say family friend. I can't find out how friendly she was with the family.
But somebody that the family at least
Someone
felt
had to have at least known
comfortable
her.
enough
Yes.
with that. Okay.
The grandma called her and said, hey, we need
This
help.
is the situation.
Yep. And I think that was probably due to the fact that Mott's mother was already going to care for 4 of the other children. So I think you're taking in 4 children that you were unexpectedly taking in, and you
Plus a
have a newborn. I think that's just a lot for someone to take on. So while she probably felt comfortable taking on 4 grandchildren, I think taking on a newborn, that's just a lot to ask of anyone.
Especially a grandparent.
Yes, absolutely. Neffy lived with Smith for the first 2 years of her life. She was lovingly nicknamed Tootie. Smith said that the two bonded over swimming trips to the falls in Ithaca and the ocean in Myrtle Beach. She said that when they weren't out swimming, Neffy would be dressing up and learning dances from TikTok. I know. In 2020, Mott regained custody of Neffy. While she had previously struggled with drug addiction, specifically crack cocaine and mental illness, the court determined by 2020 that these issues appeared to be under control. Regaining custody enabled Mott to access public benefits that subsequently allowed her to secure housing, which she had also previously lacked.
Did she also regain custody of the older 4?
Yes.
Oh.
Despite these improvements, Mott was monitored by the county for 1 year following the children's return, and reports indicate that there were no official problems documented during that specific monitoring period. It brings up a good question to me, though. If all of your children are removed from your custody, do you think that 1 year is enough monitoring?
I don't personally think so, but I know how short-staffed CPS is. I feel like the caseworkers' workloads are so heavy that they might not have been able to support more than 1 year of monitoring. I don't know what the rules and laws are around monitoring once they regain custody, but I don't feel like that's enough personally. But I guess it depends on what the circumstances were when they were taken. So if it was drug use, but if it was like years of, prolonged abuse or something like that leading up to them being taken, or something else like complete neglect or something. But if she had no strikes against her, and then it was like the baby has cocaine in their system, we're taking all of the kids, and then she does what she needs to regain custody, because that's a long process.
I agree. I, in my head, think it should be longer than a year, but I also understand that it took 2 years for her to get the rights to her kids back.
Yeah.
So 2 years plus a year of monitoring is a long time for the county to even be watching over a family, and a lot of, one would assume, effort on her part. Fast forward to March of 2024. Smith had been checking in on Mott and asking to speak with Neffy. Smith had been told that Neffy had been staying with her grandmother, and that is why Smith was not able to speak with her. Mott had simultaneously been telling her grandmother that Neffy was staying with Smith, and that is why the grandmother could not speak with Neffy. The pair happened to bump into each other and realized that neither of them knew where Neffy was, and that no one had heard or seen from her since January.
What month was this?
March. Oof. They reported this immediately to Syracuse police. 2 days later, police had Mott in handcuffs for the murder of her own daughter. The big question is, how did it ever come to this? Let's rewind a little bit to see how we got here, and we've got to start in the fall of 2023. The first failed removal attempt by CPS was in October of 2023. A family friend called the New York State Child Abuse Hotline after Mott allegedly threatened to kill her 10-year-old son. The friend kept the boy for 2 days to protect him, but Child Protective Service ordered his return to Mott after determining that the allegations were not credible. On December 13th of 2023, CPS investigated a bruise on Neffy's brother's cheek. Officials said that the injury was deemed accidental from playing. And to be fair, kids can be a little bit rough. They can get bruises. I understand that bruises can happen from playing, even on the face. So I'm very hopeful that this was really looked into and it really was a bruise from playing. That's what it was determined.
You should see my son's eye right now.
Oh no, what happened?
It's just black and blue. He got hit twice. 2 different times. So, I mean, kids get bruises.
It happens.
They bruise all the time, but
exactly.
Definitely something to look out for.
Especially if you're seeing it on a regular basis.
Yep.
January 4th, 2024, a CPS caseworker was again in the home, and this ended up being 2 days before prosecutors say that Neffy was actually killed.
Oh my gosh.
The county officials said that no abuse was found during that visit, but that visit was also focused on Neffy's brother. Trigger warning right here, and then we'll get past it. On January 6th, the prosecutors say that Mott beat Neffy with a belt in the shower at 127 West Beard Ave, causing her death.
Oh my God.
She suffered multiple head wounds that did not come from a belt, but it's unclear how she suffered those injuries. The unsealed indictment would later reveal that Neffy's body was moved to the basement of 123 McKinley Ave that same day that she passed away. Then, around January 10th or 11th, they can't be sure of the exact day, authorities allege that Mott and her then boyfriend, Corrice Parks, moved the body from the McKinley Ave to a shallow grave in the woods behind an apartment complex at 818 Salt Springs Road. Corrice Parks was later charged for helping stage this body and this transfer.
Do you know if he was present during the murder or no?
They never charged him with murder, so I don't think they found anything that said he was present. After her death, Mott hid the body originally in her mother's basement. The mom did not know this. It's very important to note this. Obviously, the grandmother thought she was still living with Smith. The grandmother had no idea that this happened.
What?
Her grandmother was actually, obviously, as you know, the one who called the police saying she was missing. So if she had known that the body was there, essentially, she obviously would have said something long before this moment. Police discovered a phone that was previously used by Mott that had suspicious internet searches, including how long does it take for a body to decay and what happens to bodies if they're burned. For 2 months, Mott was able to cover up Neffy's disappearance. She told her other 6 children and her mother that Neffy was staying with a friend. If the children asked too many questions, they were told to leave it alone. Mott had also been lying to Neffy's school as to her whereabouts. Neffy had been slated to start school at Meacham Elementary School in Syracuse on January 16th, but she never showed. According to Amanda Hall, who is a spokesperson for the Syracuse City School District, she said that there are actually daily robocalls to a child's parent or guardian when a child is absent from school. I think that's pretty standard
It's very
nowadays.
standard. Yep. A text or a call or and an
Something.
email. Yeah.
According to Hall, Mott responded to the concerns of the district employees who noted that Neffy was absent by telling them that she had transferred her to a school in Georgia. Mott told the district she had family there who she was living with while attending another school. However, the school never received a transfer request from Georgia school, so employees continued to follow up about Neffy because they did not have that transfer.
Well, that's good. I think in a lot of the child abuse cases that I've heard about, the parents will withdraw the student and homeschool them because
Then they don't have this looking up and investigating.
well, and it's not even, I mean, this is like prior to death or anything like that, but if the kid is at home, they can control them all day and they're less likely to speak out to somebody who is going to report the abuse. So in a lot of the cases that I've seen, the children are homeschooled, so they don't have that extra layer of protection of the school looking out for their best interest.
Absolutely. Hull said that the employees made several referrals to CPS about Neffy and her siblings' welfare. So why did no one look into this further, was my question. If the school is making all these referrals to CPS, I mean, I know they are very short-staffed. I know it's difficult, but in my head, if you have a child not showing up for school and no one has laid eyes on her and you don't know what's going on, I would think that that's a high priority, personally.
Yeah, I would say so too.
The Onondaga County Executive McMahon said that no one ever told County CPS that Neffy was potentially missing. They clarified that even if the district employees made referrals, those referrals begin with the State Office of Children and Family Services in Albany. She said it's possible that the district's concern never even made it to anyone in child welfare in Onondaga County.
Oh my gosh.
Again, the system fails then. If a referral from Syracuse has to go to Albany first and then back to Syracuse and it's not happening, something in our system is broke, because that should be an immediate red flag. Someone go check on this child. It should not take multiple occurrences and it should not take months. That's just absurd in my mind.
I would think any call to CPS should go to whatever local agency there is, and then the police should become involved to do a welfare check. I've also heard that a lot of times with the welfare checks, the police will go and knock, and if nobody comes to the door, or they don't have to present the child in every case, and that's another issue.
I just hate when we talk about CPS because I know they're so understaffed and I do feel for them, but these are the things that just I lose sleep at night thinking about things like this. I actually told Sarah the other day when I was going to do this case, since we don't talk about cases, I kind of already warned Sarah that this case was like really bothering me, because to me, there's nothing worse than CPS not helping a child when someone is clearly in need of help.
I mean, this is just one of many, many cases like this, unfortunately.
Exactly.
In this area, I mean, I know of a foster mom who has, her door is like rotating. She gets kids all the time from emergency situations. And there aren't enough foster parents either. That's another issue. In some states, kids are living in jails because they don't have, or motels by themselves. I mean, there are not enough foster families, and I don't think there are enough CPS caseworkers.
I've said multiple times that I've thought about fostering, but I couldn't, because honestly, I'd be in jail for fighting someone's mom if they tried to take the kid away from me.
I think that's the hardest thing, right? You have a big heart. You want to help these kids, but
Yes.
then you know what kind of situation they came from and how hard
I'm
is it
not
to
giving
give
them
them
back.
I know, but
I'm
like,
not.
legally you have to.
I know, but
But
I'd
all
be
you can do
arrested.
is what, what this foster mother did. She tried to keep in
know.
contact and tried to alert authorities. And
Honestly, I have it in here later to talk about. We can post some links to some of them. Some of the heartbreaking things about this case for me is listening to her talk about Neffy. She called her Tuti. She just loved this little girl so much. It is so evident in these interviews. And I just think how heartbreaking that you did everything you could. You tried. You called CPS. You tried to fight her in court. You did everything legally that you could do. And this is your end result.
But I also think about her in her home life. Why would a mother fight so hard and do all of the things that she needed to do to be able to get her kids back, to do something horrible like this when this little girl had a loving family and a loving home?
Who wanted her?
I don't understand.
I don't
never
either.
understand. I mean, that is I cannot fathom how anybody could do that to
I
their
don't
own
either.
child. I mean, to any child.
Anyone, but especially your own child. So on March 24th, 2024, authorities said that the worried relatives, aka Smith and the grandmother, contacted police after Mott's stories were just not adding up. That triggered that missing child investigation to begin. Police then realized that Neffy was very likely in danger, and they rushed to speak with Mott and Parks. Parks was found first, and he refused to help investigators find Mott or share his knowledge about Neffy's death. So while he was never charged with the murder, he was not helpful or forthcoming to the police. Mott was eventually located and interviewed by police. When the lies just kind of started catching up on her, she told police where they could find Neffy's body. She offered several different versions of what happened inside the apartment that night when Neffy was murdered. On March 25th, 2024, Mott was arraigned. She was originally charged with manslaughter and disposal and concealment of a corpse, and prosecutors said that she did fully confess during questioning. Even though the case was originally charged as manslaughter, it was upgraded to a second-degree murder charge. And so what that tells me is originally investigators did not know if there was enough evidence, and as this case went on, it was clear that this was not accidental.
It was an intentional.
And this was an intentional thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mott's surviving children, which were a total of 6 following this arrest, were permanently removed following her confession. These children, including a 10-year-old son, who we had heard about earlier, and a teenage daughter, were actually expected to testify during legal proceedings if they ever came to that.
Wow.
March 26, 2024, police found Neffy's remains in the wooded area near a baseball field off of Salt Springs Road. An autopsy later determined homicide by multiple blunt force injuries, and the body was found with clothes and bedding. On March 29, 2024, Corrice Parks, described as Mott's boyfriend at the time, that's how we know him, was charged with helping hide the body as well. On September 27, 2024, an unsealed indictment added the crucial concealment details that the body had been moved from its original resting place about 5 days before it moved into the woods. So that's the first anyone heard that not only had this happened, but they purposely tried to conceal the body by hiding it. You're not going to like defense attorneys on this one either.
I hate them.
This makes me really hate them, honestly, this one. On January 29th of 2025, her defense attorney wanted to have the murder and the second charge dropped back to manslaughter. Because in his opinion, and your opinion doesn't matter, you suck, there is no evidence to suggest that Mott intentionally tried to kill her daughter.
I mean, what do you think beating her up is going to do? She's a small child.
Again, I normally defend defense attorneys because I understand it's their job. And if you believe in the legal system, you believe that everyone is entitled to a defense attorney. I fully stand by that. I believe everyone has a right to a competent attorney.
I have a hard time defending pieces of shit like this lady.
Yeah. No. She didn't intentionally? Okay. Nice try. Nice try. On December 9th of 2025, a judge granted separate trials for Mott and Parks because each defense team was expected to blame the other person. Interesting, because Parks was not charged with murder.
He wasn't even, we don't know that he was even there.
Correct. So very interesting, but that's what happened. By this point, they were described as ex-lovers. They were no longer together. I think that's maybe why they expected them to turn on each other. As we said previously, her son and daughter were actually willing to testify against their mom, which I think says a lot.
Yep.
They do believe that the son was also going to testify that the mom had threatened his life 2 months prior to Neffy being murdered.
Well, didn't somebody else hear that? I mean, he was removed for 2 days from the home because somebody was so concerned. So,
And she allegedly texted her boyfriend, Parks, there, saying that she would beat the life out of the boy and he would have to be dug up, according to a Syracuse police
what
report.
in the world?
So
Who
to
is this
me,
monster?
if that is not premeditated, that you have already made a plan, that's premeditation.
Oh,
So I'm sorry, to me, now it is first-degree murder in my opinion, but I guess we'll stick with the second degree. So very recently, on January 12th, 2026, Mott pled guilty to second-degree murder and 2 counts of concealment of a human corpse. She waived her right to appeal as part of the plea. So thank goodness for small things. She doesn't deserve the right to appeal. On February 10th, 2026, Parks received 14 years for criminal possession of a weapon to be served concurrently with 2 to 4 years for concealment of a human corpse and hindering prosecution charges.
it's sad that he got 14 years for the weapons charge and less time for the concealment of corpse.
I know.
What?
What also makes me mad is on February 11th, 2026, so just about a month ago, Mott was sentenced to 23 years to life. I know there's the to life part.
It should be
But
life without the
23
possibility
years
of parole ever, ever, ever.
Like, that's not enough for me. That's not enough.
I think so many times the sentences for child abusers, they're never long enough.
No. And she was 5. She had her whole entire life ahead of her, and you took it away. Nope. Throw her in jail and throw away the key at the minimum. At sentencing, Prosecutor Moran read some of the terrifying internet searches that Mott had made after Neffy died. I do think that that probably goes into why this wasn't first degree, is these things were made after the time frame of when they think she passed away, not prior.
Mhm.
Had they been prior, I think this would have very obviously been a first degree murder case for premeditation. But she asked, where does trash go when it's picked up? How long does it take for the body to decay? If it's buried under a house, does a body smell? How do criminals get rid of bodies without being caught? And what happens to bodies if they're burned? Moran said that there were dozens of searches mentioning death, decay, smell. So victim impact statements were really, really powerful at this sentencing. And obviously, the biggest victim impact statement, in my opinion, that I saw was from Smith. She looked directly at Ma and addressed her and said, I hope you have a nightmare every night of your life and you wake up in the hell you created. I hope all of the pain and disappointment you created disintegrates you to dust. And for that, I am very proud of her because, man, it's probably nicer than what I would have to say to someone, but gets the point across. The biggest thing here is I feel for the siblings because they lost their younger sibling. Many of them were willing to testify. If you look up her obituary online, some of the siblings commented under it, which is heartbreaking.
Well, think about the years of abuse that they probably suffered at the hands of their mom.
Exactly.
And it could have been any one of them.
Any of them. I don't want to say lucky, but I guess lucky it wasn't them is probably the way that they feel. But now they're left with this huge gap, missing their sibling because their mom sucks. And that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's so sad.
And then obviously, I really feel for Nyosha because, again, she did everything she possibly could. She tried so hard, and the system just unfortunately failed in this case. And her interviews with news crews, and they're just heartbreaking. You know, she kept so many just pictures. It's like she has a shrine in her house to her. It's just very heartbreaking. So we will post some of those on our website if you want to watch them. Again, they're not difficult from talking about the crime. For me, they're just difficult to see someone really struggling who tried to help this baby, honestly. I'm happy that Mott is where she belongs, although I wish it was for a much longer guaranteed sentence than 23 years. I hope that when she comes up to parole that Nyosha every single time shows up and says how much she doesn't deserve parole.
And hopefully the kids show up too.
I was going to say, hopefully the kids will be there. I don't know about Neffy's father. It doesn't appear that he was in the picture, but maybe there was a reason behind that, and maybe he will show up. I hope I don't know what her earliest parole date potentially could be, but I hope she gets denied every single time.
It's just really unfortunate. I mean, this is an extremely severe case of child abuse, but I think child abuse is just so prevalent. And it's just really, I mean, it's incredibly sad.
I think it happens more than we know, and that's the unfortunate part,
Yeah.
right? And I think, again, CPS is trying. They want to do the right thing. No one wants to ignore this or have this happen on their watch. But I think CPS is also, I could not imagine doing that job. I could not imagine every day trying to help people and having instances like this where maybe you can't help and you have to try to go home. And imagine if you have your own children at home and you're going home to them. I give them all the credit in the world for the job they do. So I don't want to take away from anyone that's working really diligently to try to help.
Yeah, I just
just-
think they're so short-staffed. I could never do that job.
Never.
I think you're right. It would be one of the hardest. Like, how do you ever turn that off when you go home? You can't leave that anywhere. Like, you take it with you and carry it with you all the time, I would think.
I don't think there's enough money in the world. Just like I say with social workers, CPS people are not paid enough. I don't know what their salary is, but I can promise you it's not enough.
No,
Not even close. So
you're doing God's work.
literally, you are saving kids even when things like this happen. Like there are, for every instance like this that something horrible happens, I'm sure there's so many of kids that you have saved. So I mean, again, all the credit in the world to CPS. I just wish we somehow had a better system in place. Sorry guys, this case really sucked. But it is local and she was just sentenced. So I felt it was kind of important to shed some light on this. It's still fresh in everyone's mind and just to talk about it.
It's an important topic. It's just heavy,
It's just hard.
Yeah.
And on that, let's go finish this bottle of wine so that I feel better about myself and that I don't think about this case anymore.
I'm down. All right. Okay. Until next time.
Until next time, guys. Bye.
Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep seeking the truth. This episode was written, edited, and produced by us, and the music was created by Manny Aguero.